anything, any square roots, and now trig ones we're going to solve. Okay? But here's what I want you to remember. You have it inside of you, this little math geek who knows how to do algebra. That's all this really is. All of this is algebra. You are going to use your algebra skills. And by that, I mean the following. Sometimes it's as easy as isolating the x. Isolate your x variable. You've done that since 8th grade when you were in, Algebra 1, okay? Sometimes you might have to set it equal to 0. And then after you set it equal to 0, you might have to factor, because you can factor these. I'll show you momentarily how we factor. Sometimes, especially with the next chapter, we're going to combine like terms. We're going to make common denominators. I mean, all that stuff. And you've done it all. And it's the same thing except with the word cosine now. All right, so first things first, I want you to understand this. This looks so weird probably to you now. To have this 2 next to the word cos, are you squaring cos? Not really. What they've done is, this is actually the same as this, cosine x squared. Why did they move the 2 down? Because math people, when they were writing papers and things, that 2 would actually look like the x is being squared, and that's not what they meant, so they actually put the 2 next to the cosine. And it's an understood this. You take whatever cosine x is, so cosine of 30, and then you square it. That's what that means, okay? Does that make sense there? You got to understand that, because my calculus students still forgot, and they got all messed up on their last quiz. I was very angry. All right, so just looking at this equation right now, what do you mathematically want to do? Like, what do you really think you should do?
Add 3.
Add 3 and then what?
Add 4.
That's exactly right. Add 3, divide by 4. Okay? Cosine squared x equals 3/4. I'll just cut to the chase right there. And then mathematically, what do you want to do to get rid of a squared? You've done it before. Square root, let's do it. Square root. It gets rid of the squared. You get cosine x equals, you can't take the square root of 3, so you just leave it square root of 3. But what is the square root of 4? 2. And then you put plus or minus in front. Well, now how do you isolate x? Well, to solve for that x, I'm actually asking you for the angle that will give you root 3/2. So here's what you would write. Inverse cosine plus or minus root 3/2. Go around your unit circle right now. What angle will give you a positive or a negative? Oh, that's great. A positive or a negative root 3/2 for the cosine, for the x value. 30, where else? All the 30s in every single quadrant. 30, 150, 210, and 330. Now, you could write this in pies, obviously. You write it pi over 6, 5 pi over 6, all those fun, 7 pi over 6. But I'll let you leave it in degrees for now, because we're just learning. All right, next one. Sine x minus 2 sine x cosine x equals 0. Sine x minus 2 sine x cosine x. What do you think you want to do? Starts with F and ends with actor. Factor. What do we think you're going to factor out? What do they both have the same thing as? What do they both have?
Sin x.
Sine x. So you are going to factor out a sine x. Sine x. What would be left with if you take a sine x from a sine x? You'd be left with 1 minus, what's a sine x from a 2 sine x cosine x? 2 cosine x. And just like when you would factor, if this was an algebra problem, you set each of these factors equal to 0. That's the 0 product property. Okay, so I'm going to say sine x equals 0. And then I'm going to say 1 minus 2 cosine x equals 0. You have to set each one equal to 0. And then you solve. Okay, x equals inverse sine of 0. Where on the coordinate on your unit circle will you have a sine of 0? It's probably going to be on a quadrant. 0 and 180, and then all the way around again?
360.
Yep. There's your answer. That's what x is. 0, 180, and 360. But what about this one? Well, let's solve it. Subtract your 1. Divide by -2. Cosine x equals 1/2. Solve for x, inverse cosine it or arc cosine it. Where on the unit circle are all the cosines 1/2? Positive 1/2 only. There's only 2 answers to this one. 60 degrees and where's the other 60 degrees? Over 300. Yep. See, it's really easy. It's just, you've done it. You know how to do it. It's pretty key. All right, last 2 and we're done. Wow. Mumbling under your breath, thank God.
I said goodness, not God.
Much better. All right, cosine cubed x equals cosine x. And then you can write this one down just for future reference. 2 sine squared x minus sine x minus 3 equals 0. And then we're done, okay? Just bear with me. It'll probably be about 5 more minutes. I'm almost done. Oh my gosh, stop it.
I cannot.
Okay, the problem that my students still have with this is they want to divide by cosine. They're like, can I divide by cosine? Then it equals 1. And then, no, you cannot. If you do that, you're missing a problem. You're missing an actual answer.